Hello everybody, it is Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape, and it is time for another Make It Monday. I am really excited to share with you tonight a brand new set of designer series paper coming out to be available for you on May 2nd, which is tomorrow, in the new annual catalog. I was hoping to do just a little bit more, but my order just arrived and I only had time to play with it for a little bit this afternoon to get things going here for us. So I'm going to show you a couple of really quick and simple cards that you can make using this designer series paper. When I saw this in the catalog, well, first of all, I love daisies, so if there's a daisy in it, I tend to get the product anyhow. But this has some of the prettiest designer series paper that I've seen in a while, and it just jumped out at me in the catalog. And tonight, I'm actually only going to share one piece of this designer series paper with you because it is so cool. And then I'm going to show you how to make not one, not two, but 3 different cards. So this is the sheet of designer series paper that I'm talking about. It comes like this, and it is so, I thought, oh, I'm going to have a hard time cutting on these lines and things like that. What am I going to do? And it is so easy to cut, and with this you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different smaller pieces of paper that you can make cards with. Now today, I admit I'm taking what I think are the 3 easiest designs to make these cards. And that's how I can show you 3 of them. The other thing I really like about this paper is it's showing off a lot of our new colors. So this is the Bubble Bath color. There's Pretty Peacock in here. It says it's Misty Moonlight, but I think Boho Blue works pretty well with this too. The new Azure Afternoon is kind of this blue color. This color is the Wild Wheat, and that shows up again over here. And then there is also the Pebbled Path color. And I'll be honest with you, that's going to be this one. I somehow didn't order any cardstock in this color or this color when I placed my initial order. So you can imagine a second order is already going to be going in to get those colors. But I wanted to show you when I cut these pieces out, how simple and how easy it was. I'll set that off to the side to really get straight edges. I had to trim off in a couple places just that little teeny bit, which was quite easy to do on the trimmer. You just kind of set it off the side of the channel just a teeny bit, and you can trim off a really, really small piece and still be able to keep your sizes going. And so that is what I did when I cut these. Uh-oh, looks like I've got 2 pieces that have gone missing. There's this one, and then somewhere there's that green piece. I won't spend too much time looking for that. Oh, there it is. You know, I just had everything here and was trying to be efficient in my display. So that's what it looks like when you cut it out. And of course, then you can make cards. You could use these pieces as background. The other thing with some of these is if you use the memories I'm going to say the name wrong. Memories and More is what I'm saying, but I can't remember if that's the right name or not. Let me look it up real quick. Just having a bit of a mind blank when I'm looking at that. But anyhow, if you use the photo albums that we sell with the plastic sleeve insert pages, these could also fit very nicely in that as well. Now it's going to drive me nuts if I can't find it. Well, I think you all know what I'm talking about, right? Accessories 173, I think. Well, anyway, you could slide these into those pockets real easily and make you know, use it to accent a photo album that you're working on. And you could do it if you're a scrapbooker too. I don't think that'd be a problem. Memories and more. It'd be memories and more is what the album and those pocket pages. But these would be a great way to decorate that too. And then the flip side is just the new color, which is called Moody Mauve. So it's just a solid sheet of that. So anyhow, let me go ahead and get started on the 3 cards that we're going to make. I did do a little bit of the prep work ahead of time, but that's all right. So the first one, because I don't have this bubble bath color yet, I had to kind of come up with how can I work with this and make it work for us here. And so I ended up using basic white, this, and I'm using that book fold, which is a very simple fold. And then I'm bringing in a little bit of garden green, and I've used the Cane Weave embossing folder, put it on that side, to create a little bit of detail on that. And then we'll stamp a bit on the inside. So to make this card, you've got a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock. I've scored it at 5 1/2 and then at 6 1/4. And what I am going to do is take my adhesive and I'm going to go ahead and just, whoops, didn't take the cover off. Just put a little piece of tape there to fold this down. And that way when my card opens, it's just going to be the square part that opens. And let me go ahead then and add adhesive to the back of this. You guys, this catalog has such pretty new colors. I was always sad, and I'm really sad still to see those pretty in colors go, especially that polished pink. I loved that pink color. But these new colors that are coming in, they're growing on me. And now that I've got them kind of in person and not looking at them through the catalog, there are some very, very pretty colors that, what was it? The Azure Afternoon is a very pretty blue. I think you're going to, if you are a fan of the blue Island, not Island Indigo, but I am just having problems with names today as I'm working through all the new ones and trying to remember which ones have left us. It would be yeah, so today is May 1st, and the catalog, the new catalog comes into play on May 2nd. And after that, you can see everything that's in there. Pacific Point. It's not quite the same color as Pacific Point, but it's a very similar color. So I think you're going to be, you'll learn to really like that color as well. And there's a couple colors that we've had before that are returning. Blueberry Bliss, or Blueberry Bushel, is one of those colors. So I'm happy to see that one come back. And the new in colors have a lot of kind of fall colored tones more. And that's not typically a palette that I work with, but I am learning to like them. Wild Weed is one that's going to have to grow on me. I admit that. And I think the other colors I'm going to be able to use quite a bit. Can't believe I did not order this pink color cardstock when I placed my order because I love that color. I don't know what I was thinking when I was placing my order. Oh well. So I've just taken and I've attached that square. So it's kind of even borders all the way around. And I'm just going to stamp a little bit on the inside. I'm taking a flower from the stamp set that goes with this. The Cheerful Daisies. There's dies, 2-step stamps and everything. I'm just going to use this little die or this little stamp here of the 3 flowers. And I'm using Cajun Craze for those flowers because that's the color in the center. And I just want to pull in a little bit of that color. So we'll stamp those flowers. And I'm not putting anything on the inside of my card in terms of layers of paper on this particular card. And then let's go ahead and use Garden Green to stamp our sentiment, which I'm using Your Friendship Means Everything from this stamp set. And you'll notice I'm using my little piercing or stamping mat to stamp on because I'm using the photopolymer stamps, and that just gives you a better image. I'll hold it down for just a second to soak in. And boom, first card is done. I may embellish these when we're all done making all 3 cards. We'll take a look and see what happens. All right. You know, the other thing that's happened is I've rearranged all of my colors, so I'm having to search a little bit too on my stand as I'm looking for colors. All right, the next card that I'm going to make is going to feature one of the new in colors, which is copper clay. This is a really pretty color. I am going to like that. And again, this is where I'm using boho blue to create a layer, and that pretty piece of the designer series paper. And we're just going to put white on the inside, and I've already stamped using boho blue on just basic white. You made my day. And that is also one of the sentiments that comes in this Cheerful Daisies Stamp Set. Whew, I just love this. Maybe with all this pretty flower stuff now, we might finally get decent weather here in Minnesota too. We've had a week of extremely hot temps where we hit almost 90, which is very unusual. And then it dropped back down to below normal temps. They're actually talking, we've had rain, but they're actually talking the possibility of that awful word, snow flurries. I haven't seen any flakes, but I've kind of been hiding. Excuse me, hiding where I may not see open windows. And there we go. We've got just a real pretty tight layer on that with real fine borders. And then I'm going to just pop this one up on mini dimensionals just to give it a little pop. Growing up, my mom always had a garden that was just filled with daisies. I think they were actually just wild daisies that had been there growing in the fields that were around us. But they were real pretty. They're just so springy. All right, so there's another very simple card. Again, I'm going to put basic white on the inside of this card so that, oh, I just ran out of. My tape runner. Yikes. Well, you know it's live, right, folks? Fortunately, I have more. I just have to find it in my bin. It's my Stampin' Seal Plus. Alright, I guess I'm going to have to use my Stampin' Seal Plus because... Nope, there's one. Alright. I keep my tape runners in a big cloth bin, and sometimes it's hard. As you probably heard, I was digging through trying to locate these. And then I just have to remember which direction these things go in. It's always the hard part for me. And it seems like I either get them just right or I don't get them. Okay. There we go. So we'll throw that on the inside. And again, I'll come back and embellish these when we're all done. And this way we can just write a little note to somebody. So another very simple card using that pretty, pretty paper. And then let's move over to the third and final card. This one is using that wild wheat. Like I said, this is a color I think I'm going to have to use and learn to like a little bit. Right out of the box, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. But it does happen to go real nicely with this floral print from that paper. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to back it with a piece of early espresso. And you'll notice there's a piece missing out of the middle of it. That is because I am using one of the dies in the Daisy die set to cut out. It's actually an image that looks like this, but I just cut it out of the center of this layer and cut it in half because I want to create a border with it. And since this isn't going to show, it isn't going to matter. Now it looks like my cutting might be off just a little bit here. This should be, okay, so that's probably 3 7/8 more. So I'm going to cut this down by 1/8 of an inch too, just to make sure I've got it right. Let me see what that looks like. Much better. All right. Apologize for being just a little disorganized as I'm sitting here. I am in the midst actually of packing up all my craft stuff. So I'm trying to get this filmed in between packing of stuff. I'm having an egress window put in, and unfortunately it's on the wall where probably 90% of my stuff is stored. So that is why I'm going a little kind of crazy here with some of my measurements and things. So you'll notice I've got this flush top and bottom, and I've got just a little border showing on the outside because I thought that would help it pop out. I actually am going to go and cut a new piece of early espresso because I think I need it all the way around. So let me see. Okay, this one is just a little bigger. So this is basically 3 3/4. So if I cut it 4 inches wide, I always like going generally about 1/4 inch bigger than whatever the size paper is that I'm working with. And this one is 5 1/4. So the problem I'm running into this is 5 1/4, and of course my paper's 5 1/2. So if I want an even border around, what I really need to do is go 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So 4 1/8. So much for trying to cut paper out of the middle of my cardstock to save paper. Fortunately, oh, this one isn't long enough. Good grief, Carol. All right, 4 1/8. We'll get there, I promise. I know I said these are easy cards, and they really are. I'm just making them look a little harder. So there's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay. So now this gives me just a small border all the way around my card. Where I really think though, I don't like how it's, do you see how it's narrow and then a little bit wider? I think I'm still going to take a titch off the side, which I know is where I kind of started and got us all into this mess. But I'm going to see if I can take just a titch off. That's a titch. And get a slightly more even border. That's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. I'm afraid I'm going to do it again. I thought I could get by with it, but you know what? I'm just not happy with what I'm seeing. All right, I promise I'm done cutting. All right, here we go. I'm going to put tape on it, and then I have to keep it because it'll be stuck down, right? All right. So yeah, the problem, I've got to get packed up. I'm not quite sure when the window is coming in, but I'm not going to have a lot of time from when it comes in. So today's kind of my last day to get stuff done and packed up, because I'm going to be at a craft weekend next weekend, and so we're just going to try to make it all work. All right. Let me grab my silicone mat here, and I am just going to now, I've stamped the Wishing You the Brightest Birthday, which again is a sentiment from this stamp set. And I am going to just run adhesive across the back on the top and the bottom of this. And then I just want to have a little more border. I'll put the white here so you can see it, to offset this image. And so I'm just going to line this up like this, and then I am going to repeat that on this side, trying to get them as even as I can. You can do this with punches too. It's just a great way to expand a die and helps me get a little bit more pop on this card. I thought the white would just get lost on there, and I think I'm going to put this kind of in the center here. And again, I'm going to use dimensionals and pop this up. And there we go. So again, very quick and simple. And on the inside of this, I'm just going to use basic white cardstock again. I put very vanilla up next to the paper, and it is definitely basic white. And so that's where I'm choosing the inside of my color. So even though I made it look a little more cumbersome than it is, look at these three very simple cards that you can create. Now, I told you I was going to get some embellishments out, and this suite of products actually comes with some cool embellishments too, and we will be able to use them on, at least some of them, on our card. They're called adhesive back solid gems. So they're kind of the faceted gems. They have a little bit of sparkle, and they come in boho blue. They don't really give the colors, but I'm going to say kind of boho blue, this copper clay, and then this yellow is the new yellow color that we have that's called Lemon Lolly, and that's just a real pale yellow. It's very pretty. I haven't used it yet. Again, I just got some of this stuff, and so I'm not quite sure how it's all gonna come out to all work together, but that is a very pretty yellow. It's very pale. So I'm just gonna grab my take your pick tool, and I think on this card, oh, that doesn't go with that one at all. We're gonna go here and just, these come in 3 different sizes, so I'm gonna use one of each size. And I'm just sort of putting them on my card. They don't pop out super much, but there is a little bit of detail that they give. And that is all I'm going to be able to use on that card. So let's see what else we've got in here. The regular pearls that we've had are not going to be in the new catalog. They are going strictly to the iridescent pearls that were introduced. So it's not a big loss, but it's just going to be a change perhaps from what we're used to. And that's all right. Change is good. We can make that work. You know what? I think it's going to look nice with this. These are the Brush Metallic Adhesive Back dots, and they will be in the new catalog. And these are going to look really nice with this color. Whoops. Oh, no. You guys, you can tell I'm live because I am just having one problem after another. All right, there we go with that one. And then I think for this card, that's where I'm going to bring in the iridescent pearls. And these are just a shinier pearl than what we had before. I think they're real pretty. And there we go. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm sorry for being just a little bit jumpy. I did have to film this the day before. I know I said today is Monday, May 1st, and that's when this video is going to be airing, but I am filming it the day before. And apologize for some of the bumps that I ran into in the video. Just a lot going on in my house with very limited time to get some things done, but I wanted to be able to share with you this great daisy paper that I just received with my new product order. So everybody have a great week. We will see you next week, and take care. Bye-bye.